All right, yeah. So the doctor is saying that if I don't get that looked at by the end of the month, and oh God, we're live and we're on my channel. What is happening right now? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Show Business, guest hosted here on My 2 Cents of Nonsense. Because CP, you made a boo boo, didn't you, there, buddy?
We made a boo boo.
Oh, we made a boo boo.
It was Show Business from last week that got me in YouTube jail. So we're just keep playing tic-tac-toe until we have no more YouTube channels to hop to.
Yeah, I saw that it was taken down, and I was just like, wait, where is the link from the previous week? I was looking for it just a couple of days ago on Sunday or Monday. So yeah.
Ask 3AntS. They have the answers.
Twitter at 3AntS. WTF matey.
Indeed. Indeed. Not even a copyright claim, a copyright strike, a copyright takedown.
Oof.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we've
like
experienced
going
those
to jail
before.
without a trial.
Yeah. It's all right. It's you just fight it and deal with the long and arduous process that YouTube is.
The very first copyright claim I ever got, I fought, and they gave me a strike, and I fought the strike, and I won, and no one's ever messed with. Well, I mean, I've gotten claims, but I've never gotten a strike since.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Show Business. We're here talking about some movies and some box office numbers and whatnot, guys.
Well, say hi to Fuego first.
Oh my God, Fuego! I'm so sorry. Everybody, yes, Fuego from Infuegotainment. This guy's amazing.
Yep, Infuegotainment, the horror show, and I had a little allergic reaction with the contact. Yep, so just to address that initially, yes, that's hence the droopy eye, and it sucks, but it is what it is, everyone. So yeah, but hi, que paso?
So I'll read the previous weekend, January 24th through 26th. Bad Boys for Life in first with 34 million. You all right, Fuego?
Yeah, my connection is just obviously crap. You guys just keep cutting in and out on me.
In second was 1917 with 15.9 million. Cool. In third was Doolittle with 12.2 million. In fourth was The Gentleman with 10.7 million. And fifth was Jumanji: The Next Level with 7.7 million. The Turning was in sixth with 6.9.
Yuck. It was so bad.
Yeah.
You guys saw it.
Yeah. Lead us off, sir. What'd you think?
So who else saw the... Man, major delay. Jesus.
Fuego? Thoughts on The Turning?
Thoughts on The Turning? Yeah, it just keeps cutting in and out on me, unfortunately. Thoughts on The Turning. One of the best just analyses that I got from somebody was Chris Tuckman, actually. We put up our review on the horror show and did our thing, but he said this was a nothing movie. And he's like, I would rather watch a terrible movie that, actually has some sort of substance that's done so poorly in comparison with this movie. Right. The ending has been notoriously derailed, and with good reason. It gives really no explanation, no resolution, and it's literally like mind-numbingly aggravating. And it's also the worst performance, as I was telling Lindsay the other day on Monday when we were wondering if we were going to try to go live or not. It's the worst Finn Wolfhard performance I've ever seen, and it's just absolutely wretched. And he's overacting, he's overdoing it. I kind of imagine that he was probably directed to do that. And Mackenzie Davis, I typically really like. Lizzie gets the F across town. She was one of the better parts of that new Terminator film, but nonetheless, she's just not very good in this either. Although the little girl from Orphan, I believe, is the previous movie that I had seen her in as the younger sister of Wolfhard's character. She's not bad, but from trailers that I saw that, looked like they had like a very interesting, like unsettling gothic element to them. And this has obviously been adapted countless times. I was hopeful, and this movie joins The Grudge in that club of new decade films that have that F cinema score that just really shows how just really disappointed and to the point of just being pissed that people experienced with this, like Cecil and I both did on the horror show.
Did it really get an F? It got an F?
It got an F.
Wow.
It did. Yeah. So it joins the other horror film, that we saw.
That's nuts. What is there? What is there? 18 total?
I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a very select class. So.
Yeah. We already have 2 in 2020. That's nuts.
It's not a very good signifier for how the rest of this decade's going to go for horror. That's for sure.
And I mean, especially after seeing the cagey craziness of The Color Out of Space, the new Richard Stanley movie, just a couple days before, and really enjoying the hell out of that. That's that
Nicolas Cage movie, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So adapting a H.P. Lovecraft story that had actually had a couple different previous adaptations over the years. One in the 60s. There was one with Will Wheaton called The Cursed, I believe, which was like late 80s, early 90s. And they did go on and make a few sequels. And then there's been some foreign versions of it, one in 2008, one in 2010. But yeah, this new one, even if Cage got a little too cagey for me at times, it goes into full-on body horror, and it's only in limited release in a couple places currently before it hits VOD next month. But I mean, it's deserving of all the festival buzz in my estimation. It's pretty disturbing at times, actually, not to set that high of a precedent, but it goes for it with one beat in particular that really bothered me. So
it's a scrapyard right now as far as horror is concerned. It's not really much to speak of.
Well, I mean, so I do agree with the idea that The Turning is just it all at the end of the day it's nothing. But I like
a nothing movie.
I'm going to sing a couple praises for it because
this is the reason why
I did, and this is why I really hate the ending, because I actually really liked parts of it. Like Mackenzie Davis and the girl in the void without each other were both kind of blasé, but when they had scenes together, like, I don't know, they just had good chemistry for me. I enjoy it. It was just a cute girl playing with her teacher in adorable ways, and it worked. But then it would be like, oh no, this is a horror movie, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's the end of that. But it also did have one jump scare that I thought was actually really good. It was at the end of one of those really cutesy scenes, so you'd kind of forgotten you were watching a horror movie for a second. So it actually is kind of effective. It wasn't overly telegraphed, or at least for me, and it wasn't like a huge loud musical sting with it. It was a more subtle one, and a note from the musical sting kind of carried out through like the rest of the scene. So we never really got that. So like a lot of jump scares are blah, and it's a quick quick tension and release. But so we never really got the release part of that jump. So the rest of the scene, I was kind of on edge. Like, okay, movie, that was effective. You got 2 good performances and 1 effective scare. Where are you going with this? Absolutely nowhere. What sucks is, because I did some research on this movie, it's based on a book called The Turning of the Screw. Excuse me. The Turning of the Screw. Sorry, that was a fun moment. And it's actually a fairly prolific novel. It's especially for ghost stories. It's one of the earliest examples of like a unreliable narrator kind of a thing, and kind of at the end, like, were the ghosts real or was it all metaphorical? I'm not saying it was the first, but it was like from the quick research I did, it was an early like, hey, this is a cool thing that you can do with storytelling. And so the ending of the book is, okay, wait, so was this teacher lady, are there actually ghosts haunting this house, haunting the family, this rich family that this lady goes and is like a private teacher for these kids that live on this huge estate? And the end of the book is one kid has been whisked away and another one dies in her arms. And it's and it's kind of an unsatisfying ending in the sense of, okay, wait, crap, so that's it, it's over. And I think that's why it works in the book. Again, quick research, because it's the unsatisfying nature of it that kind of makes you go like, wait, so was this real? Was this all in her head? What actually was the story? Whereas in the movie, the ending is very unabashedly saying she is just crazy. There's no ambiguity. And it's a complete left turn too. Like up until the moment where they decide to just flat out say it, this movie could have gone either direction. Well, I guess not. I guess there was, it's like a fake out ending. They do a fake out. It was all a dream ending. And then they do the, no, she's crazy ending. So that's like the other part too. It's like, they couldn't even decide which ending to go with. And so they kind of decided to go with both and ended up with nothing.
They did 2?
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's a nothing movie that's going to be forgotten in 2 weeks, except for me, who's going to still wonder why they couldn't decide on an ending.
Well, you saw The Gentleman too. That was okay.
I've
heard good things about it.
So you haven't seen it? Have you seen it, Fuego?
And I'm not.
Oh,
Greg, have you seen The Gentleman?
Unfortunately, I did not. I was making an attempt to see it yesterday, and we just Cecil and myself ended up just way too bogged down with different things, and trying to finish up our Lock and Key coverage with the anticipation of that series premiering next week on Netflix. And we've been reading all the comic books. We actually that was another thing that we got to do when we were over at J Photo Spot, was he showed us the original Fox pilot from 2011 that never went to series, but he had a physical DVD copy of it, and it was briefly on the internet about a week or so ago, and it was immediately pulled down by Fox. But he showed us the first attempt at it. There was also the second attempt that he still hasn't seen, that was directed by Andy Muschietti back in 2017, that was ordered by Hulu and then not taken to series either. So Netflix, after two previous attempts, they're the final person to really get this shizzle done, which is cool. But did not see The Gentleman, although I did see Bad Boys for Life, and I must say I had much more fun with that film than I was initially anticipating. It was a blast. It definitely took things back to a slightly more serious tone in comparison with the first film than the Bayhem wackiness of the second one, which was so over-directed in some people's estimations, but I still found enjoyable. And I think they left the door wide open for 4. And which that was even before they knew it was going to perform so well.
Yeah.
So
apparently that's happening.
Yeah, it's already in pre-production. Right, yeah. Right.
Funny how that happens so often these days.
Strike while the iron's hot. 17 years between the two entries. It's just like, well, do it while these guys are still young enough.
That's the way movies should be. Like this, uncertainty needs to return to cinema. It shouldn't be, hey, let's plan 6 and shoot 4 at the same time. Just make one story, and if it works out, then figure it out.
Right. That's what killed DC in a lot of ways. It's like, okay, so we got Batman v Superman, and we're already going to be in production on Suicide Squad and Justice League and all this other stuff. And oh God, everyone hates Batman v Superman. Turn the ship.
Well, same with the Dark Universe too, obviously. Where they have Entertainment Weekly photo shoot with all these people for movies that never ended up happening. It's just bonkers to me.
We're getting the Invisible Man, and nope, no Johnny Depp. So. Well, I guess that's not even Universal. That's Blumhouse, isn't it?
It's Universal. It's Blumhouse via Universal, but it's not connected.
Okay. Which is cool, by the way. I'm into it. It looks like the trailer gives away way too much, I think.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's the story trailer that Cody rages about, and with good reason, obviously. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, how was The Gentleman, Lindsay? You're the one who thought.
Okay, I love Guy Ritchie, but he's like Shakespeare to me. Like sometimes when he's doing his like full on Cockney, sometimes I'm like, what is happening? What is anyone talking about? And the more I let myself be confused by it, and the more I fight against it, the more lost I ever am. But when you just give up and let it just wash over you, and you're like, okay, I understand what everyone's saying now. You eventually kind of, and I almost left within the first 10 minutes because of that, but I'm glad I didn't, because it's a good damn movie. It just jumps right into it super quick with this. It's like the story is, I can't remember the actor's name, but there's a reporter, Fletcher, who's got a story on this weed dealer in London. And he's gone to the weed dealers associate. He's being like, hey, I've got all this information, pay me money, or, I go to the cops. And he's presenting his information to the weed dealer's assistant, Charlie Hunnam, like it's a movie. And they have a lot of fun with that at one point, like changing the aspect ratios and talking like it's.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's a delightfully witty, fun movie. And I've never been a fan of Charlie Hunnam. I've never seen Sons of Anarchy. So
he's good in that. There's a reason they're trying to force him through movies. Like, here's your vehicle. But it's like, he's really good in Sons of Anarchy, but he just has yet to prevail on the big screen.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was watching the movie, I'd be like, I've never seen... It reminded me of Jai Courtney in Suicide Squad, where when you finally just let him have his accent, he's really good. But when he's got to do the American accent, he kind of sucks. So, yeah, I don't know. There was a looseness to him. Even though he's playing a very uptight, very reserved character, you could tell he was having more fun with this than anything he did in Pacific Rim. Basically, he was more into it, more engaged. He was doing more, and I loved it. It's a weird ride that plays with time, and it's the story you kind of have to. It's a little hard to follow, but it always kind of loops back around. And there is one big twist that was really televised way too early. I really saw it coming, but
really?
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a twist so much as the rest of the movie is who did this thing, and I'm like, I mean, we know who it was that guy. There was that scene. It was that guy, but it's fine. Like, it's a fun enough, interesting story that it's worth it. And I love how, because it's weed dealers in London, and they're talking about when weed gets legal in London, what happens to the industry, and that's an interesting discussion to have in this day and age. So I was into the story, and Matthew McConaughey turned in a great performance, which after seeing Serenity, I needed. So.
Yeah, and Beach Bum too, right? Apparently he's pretty terrible in Beach Bum as well. So
oh my God. My two worst movies of the year back in 2019, so
Beach Bum and Serenity.
Gracious.
Yeah,
I hated both of those two. They were so bad, and it's funny because that's a point of discussion that's happened here in Arizona because completely legal cannabis is back on the ballot in 2020,
nice.
And
Cool.
I know it's the case in Cali, Lindsay. So it's like I have friends who do nefarious jobs of sorts, and they've basically been like, how is this going to change my life if anyone can get it anytime? It's probably significantly, I would imagine, but
listen, if there's Grubhub for food, you can figure out a way to corner your own
Weed hub.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, they'll figure it out. That's an industry that really I can't imagine it won't have enough to profit off of.
Well, that's the interesting thing that the movie played with.
Bud Hub, that's the name. Bud Hub. There it is.
I like that, Bud Hub. And the movie does play with it's a $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
There's so much money in weed. Why are we just leaving it on the table?
Especially with not to get into news or anything, but people are so caught up in heroin and opioids and stuff. It's the answer. Pot.
The movie talks about that too. It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good movie.
Should I talk? This weekend upcoming.
Oh, and I saw The Grudge too. It's absolutely horrible. Skip it unless you hate life. It's just a horrible movie.
Way to come late to the party, by the way.
It was at the $2 theater. I figured, why not?
That much, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's how low it had to go.
In and out so goddamn much. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay, dude. We're getting through this, buddy. Don't worry.
So this weekend, we'll do what's coming up and then get to the news.
Yeah.
This weekend, Gretel, another horror movie, Gretel and Hansel.
Let's see if it's the best one of the year.
I have more hope for this one, though. I mean, Osgood Perkins, he did The Blackcoat's Daughter, which I thought was terrific a couple of years ago, originally titled February. I did not see his I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, I want to say it was called. It was, it had Elijah Wood and another actress. It was a Netflix original that they exclusively had. But this is his third film, and I don't know, all the grim stuff it lives up to its name, and just seeing this sort of adaptation, although, I'm a little bit apprehensive in the fact that it's PG-13, so I think it's not going to go for it the way that I potentially hoped that it would initially, but it does make sense, the Blumhouse model, trying to make money. And but Cecil and I are seeing it Thursday night. There's no press screening for it, so that is often an indicator, but we'll see. I mean, I like the trailers, so going in with an open mind, or trying to at least. So
the other major release is the Rhythm Section with Blake Lively and Jude Law, which I was intrigued when I saw the first teaser for it. Mm-hmm. It looks comfortable in January. It looks like a movie that you shouldn't put too much weight on. It looks like it's like Blake Lively in some sort of Bourne-esque type movie where she's trying to get her family back or some shit she doesn't. I don't know. I got Bourne supremacy vibes from it, from the trailer at least.
Yeah, Red Sparrow, Atomic Blonde. That's
yeah.
anything for it. I don't know how. I know it's a movie that exists, but I have not seen a trailer for it. But Blake Lively doing a spy thing. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, she's walking like I don't something. Her family died or something like that, and she's going to get revenge. And the big shot of the trailer is her walking away from an explosion. And,
Hey, good for her. She got that out of her system. Every actor needs to do that at least once.
I forget that she was in The Town.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Not like it's at all relevant.
I mean, I always, ever since the Shallows, the shark movie she did, right? I'm like, I've been kind of wanting to see her do kind of more action-y things because she really did carry the weirder, faster paced bits of that movie quite well. So that's an interesting. Oh, okay.
I mean, I would suspect with Bad Boys pulling in 34, you chop that in not even half. You bring it down to 20. I think Bad Boys is probably going to win again this weekend.
I contend that as well. Yeah, the buzz, like word of mouth, is still going around about it. Even people at the day job, they're still like, "Hey, have you seen this yet? Have you seen this yet?" I keep hearing that it's good, and I'm like, it's actually very surprising. I mean, even when I put up my review on Infotainment yesterday, Teddy Holiday was like, "Yeah, the biggest surprise of the year so far," and with good reason. So
126 million.
That's just domestic too, right?
Right.
Nuts.
223 total worldwide. That's what was it made for? 30?
Thereabouts.
I know it was significantly less than number 2. That's for damn sure. Number 2 was well over 100.
Yeah. It's got to be a profit by now. I mean, if they greenlit 4 already, there's it's an
90.
absolute. Oh wow. All right,
So
they're doing quite all right.
In box office, just
the figure. Box office mojo shit now. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so bad. It feels like they want to kill the website, which doesn't make sense. They bought the website. Why would you want to kill it? 223 worldwide against 90. Yeah, they've made double. They're clean sailing from here on out.
Yeah, and it's only been 3 weeks. Has it been 3 weeks? 3 weeks. 2 weeks technically.
Yep.
Oh,
just barely over.
Yeah, the heavy hitter, I guess, is Harley Quinn on February 7th,
which I'm getting excited for.
Yeah, apparently people have seen it already, and
very positive reviews.
Yeah, from people who got to see it early.
Well, I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
World premiere was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and they were at least allowed to do a social media reaction as opposed to like full on. There is still an embargo, but not on the social media side. So
that's weird. That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more commonplace where they'll let people like tweet out their thoughts about it, but as far as like posting or writing a full on review, filming something, they still want people to ease into that a little bit more. So
so strange.
Technology changes faster than people, man.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been absent for 10 days. Do we have news to discuss?
There's
not an immense amount.
Raisa Skywalker rumors that Palpatine was added a month before the movie came out. I don't know if there's any actual weight behind that. I doubt it.
What?
Oh no, not that Palpatine was added. Sorry, that Rey was a Palpatine.
Oh,
was added a month before the movie.
I was about to squash it. I was like, no, that trailer with him laughing was way before a month.
And he was out on stage back in April for Star Wars Day or whatever. So no, I just said the wrong words in the bad order. I'm English, not Rel.
You're just doing it in Yoda. That's all.
Exactly. Baby Yoda is coming out quite effectively.
So to piggyback our weekly Star Wars talk, apparently there's problems with ObiWan that the anti-Star Wars YouTube sphere has been jumping on. There's issues behind the scenes with ObiWan, and what do you have on it, Fuego?
Well, it was the fact that, yeah, they already said they had their scripts in place this past summer. Everything was all good to go. They bring out its Celebration, Ewan McGregor, and then apparently all of the crew was sent home and the show has been put on indefinite hiatus. And yet Ewan McGregor jumped on Twitter to mention he's like, no, this is still happening. They're just retooling some things and so on. But it's really turning into one of those speculative situations where they're like, is Kathleen clashing with another creative team for like the umpteenth time? And that's a real bummer if that's the case, with as adamantly anticipating, everyone was of this, with how great Deborah Chow was on Mandalorian and the fact that she was going to be, the showrunner slash predominant director and everything. It's it's a bummer, man. And I'm sure the fact that Duel of the Fates is still getting so much attention with the concept art that leaked now and all this different stuff. It's probably not helping the process very much. The more I see about that movie, the more upset I get, and I almost have to avert my eyes at this particular time, because when I was looking at the guillotine like force thing they were using on Coruscant to execute traitors and stuff, I was like, man, this could have been so sick. And
that shot of Luke just catching the blade of a lightsaber,
wait, what?
Yeah,
I haven't seen these images.
I guess at one point in this concept art, Luke was going to just grab Kylo Ren's lightsaber by the blade, the Luke Ghost.
By the hot part?
by the crackling, red lightning-ish.
By the danger portion.
Yes, by the danger Will Robinson part. Yeah. And that would have been cool, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get our hands on that script and look.
Yeah, the fact that I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, Kylo fighting Darth Vader in the cave, all Empire Strikes Back. Like, damn, man, there were just so many cool callbacks. And anyway,
what if Rey?
That's the extent of the Star Wars stuff. I mean, Mando is moving forward for season 2, presumably just properly, and everything is okay. But there's trouble in paradise for ObiWan. So.
Well, apparently, I don't know how much of this is hot take clickbaity shit that I'm just feeding right into, but apparently, Lucas is open to coming back only with full control.
I heard about that too,
and I
did not hear that, really.
Yeah, so I don't know why they're not jumping on that. Like,
I can think of a few reasons, but
I get it. I get it. Yes, you just say hi the prequels. But that's a good point to start the argument with. You open with that, and then Disney says, "All right, you can have complete control, but we get to say no to certain things to a certain degree. Like, we're not going to let you have Jar Jar be the be all end all." But it's if that is true, if I'm Disney, I'm jumping on that.
I'm like in my positive, negative bringing back George Lucas, because you would bring back a huge chunk of the fan base, but then another huge chunk of the fan base would also stay clear just because he's there.
Well, at this point, you either have to ignore the fan base or lean directly into it and just say, all right, you've been complaining about everything we've done for the last 5 years. Here's the guy that you wanted back. He's doing a thing. No excuses. Let's go.
Yeah, I still want Favreau and Filoni, man. I mean, I feel like those two are the heir apparents at this particular point. So, I mean,
and also, I didn't even say it. I'm in camp. Maybe just the scripts for Obi-Wan just weren't good. I mean, Deborah Chow has to have some kind of relationship with Kathleen Kennedy after Mandalorian. I would think. As long as Deborah Chow is still attached, I'm interested. If she leaves, then I'll get worried. Until I see, I don't know. But you're right that she does have a history. Or who knows? Like, we don't know what the Philip and Lord version of Solo would have been. We don't know what Raisa Skywalker would have been. I of course am too. I mean, I think they're incredible. I shudder to think how the movie could have been worse than how it came out too. It was not very good.
It's slowly grown on me with repeated viewings, but it's definitely
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the issue is the fact that this was originally supposed to be a feature film, and now they're trying to stretch it into a series, and maybe they just didn't have enough there, and maybe we do have some seriously weak episodes, and they're just like, okay, we need to retool this. We need to make sure that it is as solid as far as honoring this iconic character can go. So,
yeah, I could see that. Channel Don Star Roger in the chat.
Hey.
He says if George comes back, he should only deal with the stories, but not direct. I think we're all on the same page with that. Roger, I don't know if George would be okay with that.
Roger
He
that.
definitely would not. Hey, Roger that.
yeah. Let George write and let somebody else shoot it.
I mean, I love that because, like, I've been saying for years, like, what's his name? Shyamalan should direct, but not write. So, like, you know, let's get a George Lucas written, Shyamalan directed Star Wars movie.
Sure,
make that happen right there.
Sure.
At least George didn't put himself into his own movie, though. I mean, come on.
He did not cast himself as Anakin Skywalker.
Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water, and that painful cameo in Glass. It was just like, man, really?
Like, I would have been fine with a Glass cameo if it just stayed with, hey, man, let your dad go for a walk. But then, no, he had to do more than that, and that's just... you couldn't just do the one and done joke. Come on, man.
I remember him. He did write by me forever.
Hey, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Hi. Remember that scene in Boyhood? We're doing our version of that.
But yeah, I don't. I think Kathleen Kennedy's getting way too much. Yeah. She's getting the ire of every last internet fan. I don't know how much of it is on her shoulders. Right. We only get what we get, and speculation really. We get what we give. Referencing that song from the 90s, I don't think anyone remembers. But yeah, I don't know. Do they even have anything on the horizon as far as? So Mandalorian season 2. That's it as far as the Star Wars universe is concerned. And say what you will about Kathleen Kennedy. Mandalorian happened under her. So, the movies, whatever. Mandalorian. That's the future of Star Wars right there. Mandalorian.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we still have what they were trying to do with the old Republic film stuff that had those 2 Game of Thrones guys, and they're searching for new directors for that, but still nothing confirmed. No release dates. They have a tentative what they're hoping 2022 for another Star Wars film to get back on screen, but nothing scheduled, nothing set yet. So what if that's what George ends up making? Like Game of Thrones-ish, the Game of Thrones guys, Star Wars. That'd be interesting. I don't know. Let him make a political drama in the universe of Star Wars, because that's clearly what he wanted to do. Let him have Senate and all that garbage. Have him be inspired by political news right now. No, I made an Asian Jedi. There's never been an Asian Jedi ever before. Come on, guys. So Black Panther 2 has a release date. BB2, okay. What? BP2. Sorry. It has a 2022 release date, and apparently that's the first movie of Phase 5 for Marvel. Wait, do we not have a Marvel movie coming out between now and... No. Phase 4 is this year. Right. Okay. And 2021. Gotcha. So 2020 and 2021 are Phase 4. Okay. And I think that's 8 movies? I think so. Well, yeah, because one of those is Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Right. Okay. Right. Next year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Black Panther 2 comes in May of 2022, and that's the beginning of Phase 5, apparently. Cool. Yeah, which is where we also have Blade and Blade, Guardians 3, I think, right? Oh, speaking of Blade, Mr. Peanut died with Blade. You guys see that? What? I saw something trending on Twitter about the death of Mr. Peanut and something Super Bowl ad related, but I didn't go into specifics and really investigate proper. So. I watched the video. It's Mr. Peanut and Wesley Snipes are driving down a road, and then they spin off a cliff, and and Mr. Peanut dies. And I'm why is Wesley Snipes here? What? Exactly. Anyway, sorry, I derailed us. No. But yeah. Marvel. Blade. I am excited for more Blade. Yeah. It's got to be R-rated, right? Do they? Well, it depends. I don't think it's going to be a continuation of what we had before by any stretch. But that doesn't mean it can't. I mean, I
think R would be good because for at least the first two Blades were pretty good.
We're about due for a proper respect for vampires again.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone long enough post Twilight. Yeah, that we can kind of take it back. Take vampires back and make it, you know, bloody and R-rated again.
Interesting. I would, yeah, that would be cool. When's Werewolf going to get its next shot? Probably not for a while.
Well, I was going to say Andy Muschietti a couple of weeks ago. They said he wants to remake The Howling, so that's something.
Ooh.
But you know, who knows if that's transpiring or not? And then to Landis's kid, right? Or you know, he was trying to remake his dad's. Max Landis. That's right. And I know he's a controversial figure in the Me Too movement, and with some of the accusations heaped upon him. But he was also trying to remake his dad's American Werewolf in London. So yeah. Maybe in the next year or so we can get more solid werewolf films because I think werewolves are underserved personally as well. So,
all right, yeah, that's fair.
No, I think that, I mean there's just a lot of things you can do with metaphorically or artistically with a man who turns into a beast. You know, it works. It's a staple.
Oh yeah, there's lots of subtext you can tackle with that stuff.
And that's what horror is all about, right?
So
sometimes.
Sometimes. Yes.
So relevant news that just dropped a couple hours ago: the MoviePass parent company filed for bankruptcy again. I don't know why MoviePass even. Why did they think they could keep doing that?
I probably at some point just became how much money can we milk out of this before it's truly done.
You know, it was done a while ago.
Oh, I agreed. I still have the app on my phone, but I've canceled my subscription a long time ago.
Squeeze blood from that proverbial stone, man. I tell you.
Have any of you seen the Tyler Perry movie that was straight to Netflix?
No.
Negative.
Yeah. I haven't even heard of it.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, apparently I don't have anything on it. I just know that it wasn't very well received.
Tyler Perry movie not well received? What?
Never heard of such things.
Yeah.
For the record, I respect.
I mean, honestly,
Tyler Perry's. It's just his work ethic. He gets his nose. He gets shit done. You know, he's like, I'm making a movie, and he makes a movie. What are you gonna say though?
Yeah. Every single year, getting something out. I mean, that's a big credit to him, obviously. You know, we did a News with Booze on the Horror show this past Sunday. And of course, a big bit of news dropped the day after, kind of what happens with us on this program a lot of the time. So the original thing, just source material. So you know, the thing was filmed in the 50s, and then, you know, Carpenter remakes it in the 80s. And then they also had the prequel that they did in the 2000s with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and stuff, which upon reviewings, I don't hate as much despite all the CGI. But so they apparently found the manuscript for the full original novel. So it was published as a novella called Who Goes There, but it was apparently originally a full-size novel called Frozen Hell. And Blumhouse is reported to be making another Thing movie based specifically on that novel, and it's going to have all this expanded stuff. They're working from the original source material, so that's the big selling point. I just worry, Blumhouse, are you going to make like a PG-13 version of this property and piss everybody off and stuff? I don't know. I mean, another Thing movie coming from Blumhouse, because Jason has to have his hands in just about everything, it seems like, at this point. So I don't know. How about you guys?
I mean, Blumhouse has made a few R-rated movies, haven't they?
They have. I mean, it's like kind of 50-50 at this particular point. Fantasy Island is PG-13 that's coming out next month, so...
I keep forgetting about that.
See, I think when he does R-rated stuff, other than Paranormal Activity, it seems like he buys, because I think he bought Get Out after Festival.
After it was done,
didn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He just picked up, like, Get Out was made, and he just paid for distribution. I think. But Get Out was rated R, and great.
Yeah.
So
I loved it.
Yeah, I think when it's all of his money and all of his control, it tends to be a lot closer to the, like, Black Christmas. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for whatever their thought process was. It just, in every sense, you know, why rush it to be 2019? Why rush it to be PG-13? What, like, you announced it, filmed it, and pumped it out within half a year, and that's just insane.
Yeah. I still can't get over the fact that I'm watching the movie being like, oh, they ripped off us. Oh no, they couldn't have ripped off us. That just came out a couple months. Oh no, they definitely ripped off us. Like, they shot it after somehow. I can't.
I think CP's right though, in the fact that when they curate content, that's when it falls short in all estimation. When they acquire it, distribute it, and all that, that's when they seem to have far more success. So. Yeah.
And they make some really good movies, at least a couple anyway. So I'm always feel like I'm supportive of the idea of them making stuff over like Platinum Dunes or something else. Does Platinum Dunes even exist anymore?
Dude,
there's still a thing. Yeah.
Oh, that is A Quiet Place. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good for them. So they grew up. By the way, that Quiet Place 2 trailer, I don't know if we talked about that yet.
Oh,
I'm down.
Have we all seen it?
I have, yeah.
Fuego?
Yeah, it was a while back. I mean, it felt a little Walking Dead to me at times, but it's like, okay, focus less on the zombies / aliens and more on how the people interact with each other and screw each other over and stuff. So, but Cillian Murphy is one of my favorite working actors. I don't see him in enough stuff over here on this side of the pond, unfortunately, but I mean, terrific in Red Eye and 28 Days Later, and he was my favorite part of those Nolan films. I thought he was kick ass as Scarecrow, man. He was great as now I'm trying to remember the actual name of the character, but nonetheless, Crane, Ichabod Crane, I want to say is what they call him. So, Sorry. Also, that started filming this past week. The newest Batman. Matt Reeves. He tweeted about it yesterday or 2 days ago. It's officially underway, and they're rolling with it. So I'm very curious what this newest iteration of the Dark Knight is gonna encompass. So
that has Colin Farrell as the Penguin in that, right?
It does.
Yeah. Which I asked Cecil yesterday when we were filming. I'm like, "Do you like this casting?" And he's like, "Nope, don't like it at all." And I was like, "Really? Why?" So it's just going less from the source material in his estimation, and again,
so he's more of a Ingmar Bergman Penguin than Always Sunny in Philadelphia Penguin.
Danny DeVito.
Sorry, I'm trying to stay in frame, and it's like a lot going on. Right Go ahead.
I honestly love the DeVito deviation. I thought it was fun, man. I thought it was super cool. That's actually my favorite Batman movie ever. As a matter of fact, is Batman Returns. It's so Burton and so bonkers, and I just love how dark and messed up it is. So.
Yeah, Batman Returns. Well, it's not my favorite Batman ever. It's my favorite Batman of that era. It is very Burton-y. I like, for everything that people talk about Edward Scissorhands, I say no. Batman Returns is got that in spades. But
Michelle Pfeiffer too. Hubba.
Trying to. Yep.
Well, I mean,
yep. Yeah. There's also that. Sure.
She get vacuum sucked into that suit every time I think about that. Like, how do you move? Like, did she only have was she like an action figure could move it the elbows?
After a day of filming it, the sweat just nope.
Well, actually, sorry, sweat related. Captain America movies. They always have to film this stuff where Chris Evans has his shirt off or really showing off a muscle early in production, because as he wears the Captain America suit, he sweats so much he sweats the weight. Yeah, he loses the muscle mass. So like in Civil War, one of the first things they shot was him holding the helicopter, because he didn't look like that by the end of the movie.
So how many like true villains do they have cast for Batman? Because I remember the last I kept count, it was more than 3, right?
It's a couple.
Penguin.
There's been a lot of conflicting reports because we don't know exactly. Like there's all this speculation is taking place in Arkham Asylum, and we're gonna have just a small little cameo-y reveal of tons of villains, like we may Poison Ivy. We may see some, Penguin. We may see, all of these different aspects of the Rogues Gallery. But then, as far as like the core ones who get a ton of screen time, they're going to lessen it to like 2 or 3. So,
yeah, I hope so, because I don't remember. I remember my mental math was more than 3, and that's where I got a little nervous. What do you got, Lindsay?
Overstuffed the turkey, man.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was like, I said Ingmar Bergman was the Penguin. That doesn't. It's Burgess Meredith. I don't know how I got to Ingram.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Words.
Okay.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, all right, maybe he knows something I don't. But
nope, I'm just an idiot. Sorry. Okay. Now that my consciousness is clear, I'll continue.
Yeah. No, I was asking about how many villains. What the hell was that?
Well, I mean, I have heard that there's multiple. I heard because the Long Halloween. Anyone know that Batman story?
No.
Which one?
The Long Halloween.
Oh yeah, that was done by Tim Sale and the same guys who did like Dark Victory and one other, but it's supremely iconic, and everyone's been speculating this was gonna come from both Long Halloween and Hush. I think was another one that had been rumored at one particular point, which is a Jim Lee story that was really celebrated in the later 90s. But
and they both have like multiple villains in them, right?
Tons of villains. Long Halloween has pretty much everyone in the Rogues Gallery featured at different particular points. So.
Okay. Oh, well,
yeah, because it is 12 issues, one issue, per month, and it goes from one Halloween to another. It spans like an entire year of a Batman story. So
crazy. Okay.
No.
I thank you. I had heard that it was an inspiration, but cool. Thank you for filling in those gaps because I didn't know any of that.
Rumors have Riddler, Two-Face, Scarecrow, and Bane on top of.
Going back to Bane already, are we?
Shoot him out.
Yeah, Riddler and Penguin were the two that I had specifically heard, along with Catwoman, because didn't they recast Catwoman, if I recall correctly? I don't remember the name of the actress, but...
Wait, was it Zoe Kravitz? No.
Yes, I think it was actually. Yeah. Yes. Zoe Kravitz, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Are they starting from scratch? Because that's a lot of stuff you got to cover.
It is, yeah. Well, I think at this point you can kind of just be like, "Oh, it's Bane." You don't need a huge backstory for him necessarily.
Yeah. You could kill the pearl necklace scene. You can kind of skip that, please.
Actually, what they're going to do is they're going to kill Uncle Ben in the Batman movie, and they're going to kill Batman's parents in the next Spider-Man movie. They're doing a swapsies.
Yeah. There's stuff that we've all seen so many times already that they can. It's DC, so I get nervous. You don't need that much. I don't like. When was the last time there was that many anything in a movie that wasn't Avengers, Justice League, Suicide Squad? Any of them?
Yeah, and to do this first new iteration of Batman with that amount of opposition, like right off the bat, they're just really assuming, I suppose, at this point, okay, we all know about the extent of his villains and his various adversaries, so people are just going to go along for the ride. But I mean, Matt Reeves, solid director though, so I'm pretty confident, and I like most of the casting he's put together so far. So yeah.
I agree. I think his Planet of the Apes are some of the best movies of the last decade, or at least the best like original trilogy of the last decade. So I can't wait. Yeah.
Cool.
It's one of those things that's like I almost don't want to know too much going in, just because like I have so much trust in Reeves. Like I knew almost nothing going into the last 2 Planet of the Apes movies, and I loved them.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, Apes is a franchise that you can kind of get away with. Like not many people are heavily into Planet of the Apes, so it was I don't know, a blessing in disguise that people didn't know too much about it.
Well, yeah, and especially because people were kind of put off by the Tim Burton one, which I still don't necessarily think is that bad, but it just wasn't great or like super memorable. So
the cast is great, and those monkey effects are amazing in that movie.
I just love Tim Roth. I thought was great in that movie.
He really is.
Marky Mark, not so much, but
No.
And
No.
and stealing Kevin Smith's idea from the Jay and Silent Bob comic with the monkey Lincoln at the end. That pissed, man. Kevin Smith raged about that because he put out that comic years before, and yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's amazing.
Oh, it definitely is. It was very contentious for a point there. So
I have to look that up. Okay.
Yeah, I finally saw. Speaking of Kevin Smith, I finally saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot. No, less so.
Well,
I don't know what happened to him, but he hasn't made a decent movie since Red State.
Red State was divisive. Really? Oh man,
it's not good. But
I have a soft spot. No. I have a soft spot for parts of Tusk. You never go full Tusk, bro. Never go full Tusk.
Yeah,
and the ending of that movie disturbed me. But
wait, so that's the movie where the guy from Galaxy Quest turns into a walrus, right?
Oh my God, Justin Long's he is in
Galaxy Quest. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the movies I should have said.
Die Hard 4, The Mac Guy,
which also Kevin Smith was in Die Hard 4.
Oh, right.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. And yet the one after it with Jai Courtney, where they went back to R rating, was maybe even worse. It's just God, what happened to that franchise, man?
Live Free
With a Vengeance is so goddamn good. Anyway.
I do like The Vengeance,
Yeah, 1, 3, 2, 4, 5.
Are they still trying to make the first one where it's like him like before Nakatomi Tower? Is that still a thing?
Oh, why?
I don't know, but I've heard rumors about it every now and again.
That's Fox. I don't think Disney's going to get themselves involved.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, maybe. Thank God for Disney buying Fox. They stopped.
Well, speaking of bleeding something dry, apparently there's 2 Transformers films being written right now. 2.
That was another thing I was going to mention. But the whole Beast Wars thing really gets me excited because that was, at least for me, my favorite iteration of the property. I loved Beast Wars, man. It was I was a little too young when the original cartoon was going in the mid 80s and stuff. I was like 2 or 3, so I didn't have much of a grasp, but I watched the hell out of Beast Wars and I thought it just did such interesting expansion of the property and it was very well written. So yeah, if they do a live action of that, I think that could be dope. And then the other one is a Bumblebee sequel, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah. I mean, after Bumblebee 1, I'm definitely down for a Bumblebee 2. But I'm in the same boat, dude. I loved me some Beast Wars growing up, so I should not be excited. Yeah. And actually, so I watched Transformers when I was like a really little kid, and I had like an Optimus Prime and what's his face, the T-Rex guy, like action figures. And then Beast Wars came out, and all my friends started buying Beast Wars toys. And I brought in my Transformers toys. Like, oh, you can't play with those. They're not animals. But they're also Transformers. See, like, and this guy is a T-Rex. Like, no, it's not the same. It's not. And then they literally made the original Transformers canon in Beast Wars. And I was like, suck it.
Yep. Yeah, but, so I guess you're excited then, Lindsay?
I shouldn't be. Like, I mean, Bumblebee has hope for the future, but
I still have yet to see that, by the way.
It's worth seeing. It's definitely worth seeing. I understand why some people aren't crazy about it. It's got some silly parts in it, but it's overall a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah.
Emily
just told me that word of mouth, we don't know. Apparently the Dora movie that came out last year, They play it like she's still the age that she is in the cartoon. Like she speaks like a child, but she's got tits.
Like a teenager.
Yeah, it's really kind of weird. I don't want to watch the movie to find out, but apparently somebody that's seen it said that she still acts like a child. So it's really kind of I don't know.
I do remember one of the first reviews of Dora that came out was like weirdly horny. It spent a lot of the movie talking about this girl coming into her own and coming into being a woman and stuff. But
kept using the word coming, right?
I can't remember, but it was like when I read the Twitter stuff about it, I'm like, oh, this has to be being blown out of proportion. And then I went to the review and I'm like, oh no, this dude wants to. This isn't okay. Yeah, so
that's creepy.
I did hear it was actually kind of all right, like a little kid's version of Tomb Raider, but I never saw
same.
it.
Yeah, me neither. No, did not feel the need. It's not a property. I've actually never even seen a single episode of Dora. So
yeah, we're all a little too old.
A little after my time.
Yeah.
In the chat, real quick, Roger is saying the Galaxy Quest documentary "Never Surrender" is pretty great. It really is. I quite liked it.
Damn.
Oh,
yeah. Still haven't watched it.
Yeah, where is that? Is that a?
I think it's on iTunes or other digital stuff for download. Yeah, it's the Screen Junkies made it. And it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of heartfelt. It gives a very nice tribute to Alan Rickman. Actually,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Last year was 20 years. Wow, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of Die Hard, right? Man alive.
That came out the year I was born. My mom she was pregnant with me. It was like to my dad, I want a violent movie. I don't know why they went out and they saw Die Hard.
My dad still contends it's the best Christmas movie of all time, and it makes me laugh every time he says that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all about family,
I have
right?
a machine gun.
What else on the news front?
Well, we have a couple Disney remakes that were announced this past week. So yes, we are more live action fun, everybody. So the one that had at least a little bit less information was the fact that they're doing Bambi live action. So that's gonna that's gonna give some kids nightmares, I would imagine, if we're still gonna kill the mother and all that different craziness. And so that one, not a lot of info. The one that they did have much more so about is the fact that they've been trying to do this Pinocchio live action for a while. And yet I still think Guillermo is trying to do a live action Pinocchio, or is he doing the animated one for Netflix? I'm trying to remember, but I know he had something in development. I was much more interested in that because I think I've said on a few different occasions here on the show that I absolutely love the Carlo Collodi source material. It's so much darker than what Disney did with it, and even Disney's is considered dark by today's standards. But Robert Zemeckis to co-write and direct live-action Pinocchio for Disney. I love Zemeckis, so I'm intrigued at this prospect. But more live action stuff. They're gonna the well is gonna be empty at some particular point pretty soon.
Yeah, what if they're rushed?
It's like what do you do?
Well, it's like with Star Wars, do it before the strike while the iron's hot. Get it all out. Just make the money and then move on to the next thing.
Who is screaming for live action Pinocchio? Who's screaming for Pinocchio, period?
The people that are responsible.
Okay, all right.
I was just going to say the same people that made all the live action Disney movies $billion grossers.
Well, I mean, like Mulan makes sense because it's people.
Yeah.
And that's coming this year. So, that's awesome. Do Little Mermaid. Do that. That's
they've been trying to. Yeah.
That would just be nightmare fuel, I think. Live action Mermaid.
I mean, at this point, you did Lion King and really kind of.
Yeah, but there's not like half people, half fish.
Well, I think CGI at this point, if they do half and half, it should be all right.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see. And it is safer to err on the side of technology being able to do it than to assume it can't do it at this point.
I mean, Aladdin. I expected to hate Aladdin, and I really didn't.
That's true.
Yeah. I thought Jungle Book was going to be, the one that I enjoyed the hell out of, and it was actually the opposite. Aladdin was the one that I personally preferred. Hate to say it, but well, actually, no. I have no qualm saying it. So,
yeah.
Just the logistics of a live action puppet, though. That's going to be tough, obviously. But I mean, Zemeckis, it makes me wonder if it'll be, kind of like a Polar Express, like full CG kind of, because he's been pioneering that technology for a while. So I don't know. We shall see.
And it's so sad too. Like I want to be excited for Mulan. Like they're not doing musical, which is the worst part of all these live action Disney movies. I mean, one of the weaker aspects, but
sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm also just so over it at this point. It doesn't even matter that it looks good. It's like the Black Widow movie. Cool, it looks okay. I'm also over it and don't care anymore. So.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not stoked about Black Widow at all. honestly. And I have a lot of friends who are, and they're just like, really? Then
I think it's a great concept for a Black Widow movie, playing off the family aspect that was so important to her with the Avengers towards the end. Like, I get it. That's a good idea. It's a good cast. I love me some David Harbour.
Same.
Too late. I just don't care anymore.
Well, the entire Phase 4 Marvel, like it really. Again, this is me, the guy who doesn't really follow that too well, who has comic hero fatigue, but Black Widow, the Eternals, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Thor is the most promising one that I could think of, but that's the last of the lot. So, and apparently they're throwing a Spider-Man in there somewhere. So,
yeah, I was curious about Doctor Strange. I mean, very much so until Derrickson left the project, and they still haven't found a new director yet. And there's a lot of people speculating who the hell are they going to plug in there. So,
I like Derrickson a lot as the director. It's a loss for him not to be there anymore, because the first Doctor Strange, that ending is. I mean, a lot of that goes to the writer too, C. Robert Cargill, but they're a good team. They've worked together on so many movies. They just click well. So if without Derrickson, do you still have Cargill? You're gutting the things that made the first movie so good. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it only made only. Bite myself in the hand. 677 worldwide.
Oh dear God! It only made it.
Oh yeah, then let's all shed a tear for them. You know, the smallest little violin crying for not
let
hitting
it go
Bill
Disney a
or whatever.
6-pence piece to make up for.
What I was trying to say was Doctor Strange. I enjoyed it for the the modest success that it was.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. I just thought those parts were so funny. Oh man.
I mean, just how often in any movie, let alone a superhero movie, is the answer to beating the big bad outsmarting them?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just.
It is often out like brutalizing them, right? I mean, that's more so the thing.
Like literally, brains won. I love that. And then Thor Ragnarok a year later kind of sort of did a similar thing where they beat Hela, not by beating Hela, but by unleashing the giant demon that blew up the world, including Hela. Awesome.
Some great visuals in Doctor Strange too. That was Inception in the Marvel world. I really quite enjoyed that movie.
I saw that. I saw that super blazed in IMAX 3D, and it was amazing to look at. Utterly amazing.
Yeah, it's totally a 3D movie. Like, it's good. That's become like a niche thing again. Niche, however you want to pronounce it.
Nietzsche.
But only in certain circumstances though, because there's so many films where they have it, but it's not warranted in my estimation. But a film like Doctor Strange most definitely did.
Absolutely. So. So Avatar, whenever they figure out how to make 3D,
still the best 3D I've ever seen. It was
Avatar,
probably Avatar. Possibly it's either that Coraline or oh boy, what else am I thinking of? Prometheus was really badass in 3D in theaters too.
Prometheus, I was going to say Ant-Man, because those effects were, that's the perfect movie for something like that. Man. Perfect 3D. I guess.
Don't always get it.
Literally was made for that. So.
And so suddenly I was like, wait, so Avatar's coming out this year, and I don't know when. Nope, it's not coming out till next year.
It's been delayed again.
Has it? I didn't even hear about that.
Well, I thought
it didn't get delayed again. It's just been delayed so many consecutive times.
I thought isn't he filming them all at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing the Peter Jackson thing, with like filming, multiple.
Why on earth
multiples at the same time?
He's filming 5 movies at once.
Yep.
I think he's filming like 2 or 3, and then he still says he wants to make a prequel too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, just to build the Pandorum or whatever it is universe and a little bit more so before all of those people from Earth get there. So I don't know.
Not to root for somebody else's misfortune, but I really would like to see what would happen if the sequel just like if part 2 just tanks hard. Like, what do they do with the rest of whatever they filmed?
You release it and you hope you make something back.
Well, that's what falls in with the putting the cart before the horse, like we were talking about earlier in the show. I mean, it's like it's nice to be ambitious and to plan so far ahead, but doesn't always correlate and work out the way you want it to. So.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's like, you know what I can't wait for? Avatar.
Mhm.
Nobody, like, everybody saw the first one. It's the second highest grossing movie of all time, and nobody really cares.
I'm excited about it, but I mean, I'm not over the moon for it with all the delays and stuff like that. I feel like, maybe, I don't know. Cameron is one of my favorite directors ever. I still don't think he's made a bad movie per se, but it's just so overdue. I don't think casual audiences are going to care very much. So.
Yeah. So the 2010s was the first decade James Cameron didn't give us a major cinematic release.
It's nuts.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Just been sitting on Titanic documentaries and Avatar pre-production for the whole decade.
That's crazy.
And promoting
going in his little subs, man. No,
guys,
I'm actually a producer on this one.
It's okay.
They started filming in 2017 for Avatar 2. But because they were doing 2, 3, or 4 of them, or who knows how many at once, it's still all in post production.
I hope there's no kids that they cast in that movie because the aging process is probably working a wonder on them.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're gonna have to cast like a new kid each movie.
He has contended constantly, though, right, that he's like waiting for the technology to catch up with the immense aspect of his vision. Okay, he's like, we're trying to be as Yeah, I know. We're trying to be as groundbreaking as possible, and so I'm trying to make things happen that we can't even do yet. And I mean, props for the ambitiousness, I suppose. But
you need technology to tell stories. Okay. George said the same thing about the prequels.
Yeah.
And then Jason X was the first movie shot in all digital to premiere. I forget what the record is. Jason X is the first movie shot all digital to be released.
Wait, whoa, really? That's kind of cool.
I guess.
I have a soft spot for the stupidity of that movie, though. I think it's got one of the best kills in the franchise with the girl's head being put in and then smashed
frozen
on
and smushed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, do you have the exact statistic, Lindsay?
I'm looking that up because I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I think it's the first movie shot all digital that was released to theaters.
This is one that I was unaware of.
What a weird stat for that movie to have.
I can't find any. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not sure. I just can't find anything.
I'll get the supplements for that. For next time.
No, here it is. Yeah, it's the first feature-length film ever to be completed entirely in the digital realm. Huh. Good for it.
Yeah. See, so you could take your ambition and it doesn't do anything for the story. Is my point.
I mean,
shine it up real nice, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up in there. Anyway,
Black Panther, the first movie of Phase 5. Meanwhile, I don't think anything in Phase 4 looks too incredible.
Wait, so when is New Mutants coming out? Is that going to be a part of Phase 4?
April. I don't think that's a part of Marvel technically, right? That's
its own thing off on the side.
It's offshoot or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Apparently, they're talking about Fantastic Four, which
I've been hearing rumors about Doctor Doom being the villain in Black Panther 2. That's like some speculation that's been floating around. Yeah, so they're gonna like soft introduce some characters from Fantastic Four and then just go like full on into it afterwards. But yeah, the X-Men integration is going to be so much more difficult based on the just number of characters. They're thinking, Fantastic Four makes a little bit more sense and just ease them in comparison. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it all goes, obviously, because I like this stuff, but I don't absolutely love Fantastic Four. So
yeah.
I mean, as a comic reader and stuff like that, it was never like a property that I just thought was badass or anything. So,
well, it's more important to the history of comics than it is beloved for its own thing. It's from what I've understood from as a casual. like I'm so casual about my comics, you can't even call me casual. But I do like the idea of doing Doctor Doom first in another movie, because like that's the big get of getting Fantastic Four, right? Is Doctor Doom. Like he's one of the best villains in Marvel. Like when I think like 7 years ago, I watched a couple of the Avengers cartoons and they weren't bad, but the best episodes all revolved around Doctor Doom.
I think that like Disney, there could be, one of the reasons they bought Fox was just to have all the Fox villains, because I think X-Men has some of the best villains as far as Marvel is concerned.
Oh, so, definitely, man. Mr. Sinister, Magneto, obviously. I was a big Apocalypse fan back when they did that. I mean, yeah.
It's strange because I would say X-Men has the best villains. Doctor Doom's a badass. Spider-Man with Venom and Carnage and those villains. Like, it's so strange that, the cinematic universe, you got all the good heroes, but all the good villains are still, well, up until they bought Fox, were outside their grasp. But now it's just, we bought Fox. We're going to get rid of 20th Century Fox, and we're just going to use all their villains.
Yeah. For me, I was like, Voltron, the hell? Like, it's not that compelling to me. So,
anyway. Yeah, I don't. I'm still waiting to see the first failure from Marvel. I think that this might be the batch.
And like not even necessarily a first like what's going to be their Dumbo of like our live action, and like Dumbo's not a failure, but it made way less money than all those. So what's going to be the Dumbo of the Marvel?
Well, isn't it like Ant-Man? Isn't Ant-Man one of the?
Oh, I guess the
lower grossing.
Well, lower end, it still made hundreds of.
Wait, Ant-Man and Wasp made 622, which again, nothing to sneeze at. Ant-Man 519.
Oof. Okay, yeah.
And I used to be able
lower.
Yeah, half $500 million. Again, any other film takes it and runs, but maybe not the greatest thing for a Marvel movie.
I mean, as far as quality, most people. Sorry.
No, go good.
I mean, as far as quality, most people point to Iron Man 2 as being, the weakest. One of, if not the weakest of those, Marvel films. But it still made money, obviously. So it's like depending upon how you're looking at it, I guess. So.
Iron Man 2, 623. All right, so that appears to be like the 600 appears to be like the floor for Marvel movies. Anything below 600 is probably
that's interesting.
Not a success.
And yet those scenes with Mickey Rourke and Sam Rockwell, I found so hilarious.
How do you
just the banter between the two of them?
No, they were great. Like your bird, my bird, your bird. They're like back and forth like that. They nailed it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
When Rockwell is playing full asshole, man, he is just the funniest to me. It's ridiculous.
Rockwell in anything's awesome.
He's always the best part of anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, or even when he's doing stuff that's a little bit more serious, like Moon, right? He is versatile, man. He really is.
Hey, we talked about Galaxy Quest earlier.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, even Choke, the same guy who did Fight Club, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, whatever his name is.
The book, yeah. I know what you mean. So you're more or less our comic guy, Fuego. So the way they introduced the Marvel, not Marvel, sorry, X-Men into the Avengers was how did they do that? Because hey, we're gonna combine all the worlds together, but nobody just noticed the mutants all this time. But we don't like that Spider-Man who's swinging around, but those mutants are okay. Do you know how the transition for that was?
I honestly don't, unfortunately. Plus, you guys were cutting a little out with my nasty connection for a second there, so I only got like half the question. No, that's obviously my fault. So,
X-Men, how they got introduced to Avengers?
As far as in the comics, I read very specific runs of the X-Men stuff that was more or less self-contained, so I read like Age of Apocalypse, which dealt with, like universe jumping and alternate timelines and stuff like that. That was about the extent of it for me as far as X-Men stuff goes. My basis of comparison is probably more so from the cartoon series, from films. Obviously, I read more Spider-Man stuff. As far as like Maximum Carnage and Maximum Clonage with the augmented clone saga and stuff like that. But there's just so much to take in with all of those various properties. I mean, Spider-Man and X-Men were my two favorites from Marvel growing up, but even so, as far as how they factored in with all those different iterations of there's regular Avengers, there's West Coast Avengers, and there's just so much different stuff. I mean, just like even in DC, you've got various versions of the Justice League, and there's Titans and all this different stuff. So you've got younger, you've got older, it's all over the place. So yeah, that's where I can't impart as much as I would like, unfortunately, because the comic world, that's definitely where Cecil shines a little bit more so, as far as having collected and bought and read everything over the decades. Whereas, I mean, with me, it was Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, and then more so like self-contained storytelling, stuff like Preacher, and things of that nature. So
yeah, it kind of sort of like what I was talking about before. Marvel's, the cinematic universe is one thing, and everything else that Sony and Fox had its own different qualities. But yeah, it would be interesting, because what was it? Endgame. They had a call sheet for the act, like the payroll for that closing scene was something like a half a billion dollars just for the, like, what each actor commands. So if they were to get some X-Men, I mean, granted, what are the X-Men right now? Do we have any holdovers? Like, what is that franchise right now as we know it?
I guess the one
Wolverine, right?
Yeah, well, there was also the one meeting that Patrick Stewart, since he's on the press trail for the Picard show, he said that he has met with Kevin Feige since the Fox acquisition. But it's like, okay, so is it McAvoy? Is it Stewart? Like, shouldn't it be somebody new? Who the hell knows? And so I just kind of think, and put that character to rest with how great Logan was, and just leave it be and have it at that. But I don't know.
You know what? If you're gonna bring Logan back, make it for Deadpool. Just put those two together and do it right, and do it all.
I would take Deadpool 3.
Wolverine versus Deadpool, Super Healy guy versus Super Healy guy. That would be so cool. It'd be like the X2 fight, but with like humor behind it, which I'm so down for.
Yeah. Redo it, because you messed it up hardcore with Origins. Yeah. Which, you know what? The last time I watched it, it's not that terrible. It's just unfortunate, the things that happen in that movie.
I like the war flashbacks, where you see Sabretooth like going and doing all their stuff early in the movie. I think that stuff is actually pretty solid.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah,
kind of falls apart though.
If there's anybody that you can bring on, I would say bring on that girl who was X-23. Bring her into the MCU. I think that could be really dope.
That would be very cool. I'd be super down for that. You always bring back Jennifer Lawrence too, right?
She didn't want to be there for the last 2 or 3. Oh,
at least
yeah. And yet it's so funny. As much as I've hated on her, I showed my lady mother the other night. She had never seen Darren Aronofsky's Mother, and I still contend, man, that movie it's not for everybody, that's for sure, but it leaves you feeling so anxious, and it is so strange, and it's immense subtext and all the biblical tie-ins and stuff like that. I mean, whereas I was very off-put by Noah, Mother, I actually really liked, and that movie makes me feel very uncomfortable when I watch it, but nonetheless, it's an interesting viewing experience. It's like nothing else I've ever seen. That's for damn sure. And one of J. Law's better performances.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while for her.
I mean, she's been up and down. She has an Oscar. She's been in billion-dollar movies. She's still young.
I know. Is she even 30 yet?
I think she's.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
man.
I mean, the last thing I remember is her showing her goodies in Red Sparrow, and that was pretty much it. I think that's the last thing I saw her in.
She turns 30 this year.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So she's a little older than we thought. But.
Yeah.
Old enough. Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence was the highest paid actress in the world in 2015 and 16.
Yeah.
With their films grossing over $5.5 billion.
Dang.
I'm trying to think. So the X-Men was definitely one of the. Oh, Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that made massive money. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
and I think stuff with like David O. Russell also performed pretty well at the box office, right? I mean, Silver Linings and stuff like that.
Are they heavy hitters at the box office though? I thought they were like just award darlings.
I think. Well, I mean, they didn't make like tons and tons of money, but I think now I'm curious because I know Silver Linings with her and Cooper was. Yeah.
So Silver Linings
well
made 240-ish at the box office. An American Sniper.
It's 1/3 a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is, right?
Ooh, wow. No, sorry. American Sniper, not American Sniper. American
That
Hustle.
is not, yeah. American Sniper is not J-Lo.
Yes.
Was it American Hustle? Was that what it was called?
250.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, if you have a movie that's like, more like art house in its appearance as far as like, drama with a little bit of comedic elements goes, if it's going over 2, that's definitely a significant success.
Absolutely.
So. Agreed. Yeah. So actually, that's pretty good for award movies too.
Big return on investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much is 1917 made? That's probably going to win the Oscar. I mean,
that or few.
What's it at now? I wonder.
I'm getting to it. 205 worldwide.
That's pretty good.
Okay, worldwide. Yeah, not bad.
107 domestic.
Are you guys going to be watching Oscars live, doing any sort of stuff? I know it's still a couple weeks away, obviously, but I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
Trying to soak in the last couple bits. I'm telling myself I'm going to watch some of the other nominated animated features. I'll also want to check out some of the documentaries and things like that because I've seen just about everything that have proper context in them, doing a whole prediction video and stuff like that at some particular point. But Little Women I still haven't seen. I have to check out Bombshell at some point because with the 2 different acting nominations for the ladies and stuff like that. So, but I'm close. Haven't watched Klaus yet. That's one on Netflix if I'm not mistaken. That just won a significant award the other day, and so people think that is the front runner now over Missing Link and Toy Story 4, and
really,
obviously the non-nominated Frozen 2. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting day when Missing Link won the Golden Globe, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Which I thought was, as far as Leica movies go, I preferred Kubo and Coraline so significantly more so. I was kind of disappointed with Missing Link, but that's
funny.
Once again, art is subjective, personal opinion. So.
Yeah, I mean, like what we talked about, how Disney just flooding the market and. They're saturating and not having anything to show for it.
Not except for all that goddamn money. But as far as accolades goes, definitely not.
Touche. Good point.
So the only other bit of news I was going to mention to you guys, at least that I had here, I don't know if you guys have anything else, is the fact that Bill Murray is confirmed now to be reprising Venkman in this Ghostbusters Afterlife film. So there was the reports that everybody else was coming back except for him. I don't know if he was a holdout or they were keeping it under wraps or whatever. But it is now confirmed that unlike in the Girlbusters, where he played a different character in that weird news segment or anything, he is returning as we came, we saw, we kicked its ass. So
Rick Moranis?
I guess I'm stoked enough for that.
What about Rick Moranis?
Rick Moranis still no word on him. Boy, would that be a fun surprise if he somehow just shows up, man. I was just rewatching Strange Brew the other day, and it's he's great. He really is.
And
sad that he's hasn't done anything since the death of his wife. So
yeah.
I forgot that's why he retired.
I didn't know that's why he retired.
Yeah, because he had to raise his kids, and he's like, I'm just going to step away from acting. His wife suddenly passed away, and so, but all the kids are grown now, so he has time.
You're right.
Still, it's maybe it's hard to go back.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can speak to that. I have yet to really properly get back to performing on stage since my father passed. So
It's hard.
It's shit happens in real life, and it makes it hard to do things in fake life.
It does.
Yeah, the impact reverberates, man. It totally does.
Sure.
I do find it funny that they're even trying to get Bill Murray back at all after he was so visibly just not wanting to be there on camera for the other Ghostbusters.
In a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's because they wrote it. His cameo was terribly written. Yeah, you're right. It's just
it was. Yeah.
Well, it's.
I wish they just left the cameos in that movie at the bust of.
Yeah.
That was just really good and really clever and subtle, and the other ones just weren't.
Yeah, I think I liked Winston's the best.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, that's true. That was pretty good. Yeah, just showing up right at the end. Yeah,
and get him to shoehorn that "I ain't afraid of no ghost" line.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like his was fine until he said that, and then it just made it so much worse. Like if he's just like the idea of a cab driver in New York who's so jaded, he's like, "Oh, ghost, I don't give a crap, man." Like that's hilarious. But then you have him explicitly say it, like, "Oh, come on." Like,
well, the further away we get from that movie, the more clear the vision gets on how much that was perhaps a mistake.
Yeah.
Everything the way they handled it. Yeah.
I like Paul Feig too, so that's where it's and he still vehemently defends the film, but I don't know, it was just ill-conceived in a lot of ways. I mean, having them cameo as other people, and it was very off-putting, to fans of the genre. So
it's like, plus the fact that he wanted to make his own thing, yet still like counted on staples of the franchise. It just or stuff from the first one, like bringing back Stay Puft just to deflate it. Like, what are you doing? Why are you?
Yeah, it's a have your cake and eat it too at that point. It really is.
It was just so strange that how they handled so many different things with that movie.
So much dancing.
Oh, way too much dancing.
The fact that so much dancing that there was like several scenes of dancing to cut from the movie and still have a lot of dancing in them.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that movie.
Sure.
I love.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. Yeah.
He steals the show.
Chris Hemsworth, sure.
Yeah. And Kooky Girl. I can't think of names right now, so I'm just going to say
Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon feels like she's in a different movie in a lot of scenes, and that she is. She just further proves how she is one of the strangest comics like working today, and she is just so odd to me. But she did make me laugh in a few instances. So.
The weird part about watching that movie again in like 2020 is the weakest part of it are the leads. It's Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Hey, I remembered names. Go me.
Well, and they had them both playing it so straight, man. It was like it was a weird dynamic.
I mean, we invoke Red Leader Media around here all the time. I don't know what that accent was. It happened now. In Red Letter Media, they said it best, where like every character was more or less written to be the Venkman character in this remake, and you can't do that. You can't have 4 Venkmans. You need to have 4 distinct characters that are all different from each other.
That Plinkett video on Ghostbusters 2016 is hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. Going back to J-Lo really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, are they still doing that Hunger Games prequel?
I mean, I don't know that they can because there's no Battle Royale prequel.
Going back to that, I dig it, man.
Sorry, that's I'll never let that go.
No, I've been spending a lot of time with Asian cinema, so.
Oh, that's right. You're watching a bunch of Korean movies. Oh, yeah, we'll try to talk about that here in a second. But there is a book about President Snow that's supposed to be sympathetic to President Snow that is either about to come out or has come out or is in the work. I don't know, but it is a thing to some extent or another. Yes. I don't know about the movie yet, but there is a book.
Wasn't it like, I thought the movie was supposed to take place like years before the first one.
Oh yeah. No,
whatever this prequel is.
Well, I mean, President Snow's like 100 or something like that in the books or in the movie. That's why he's like always like spitting up blood and smells like bad and stuff like that because they're just using weird
smells. Wait, what version did you see?
I just spoiled. I've read the books and not just the movies. Every time Katniss is in the room with, he smells like death and blood. She comments whenever she gets near him. Let's look it up though. So Hunger Games prequel.
Yeah, because if it's years. Well, I mean, if they're going to focus on the games, there's no reason for them to have Jennifer Lawrence back in it anyway.
Okay, so it's called probably not. Yeah, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is the title of the book, and it's set for release on May 19th of this year.
Oh wow!
Damn, book's not.
Is it about like the first games or something, or like? I mean, how are they going about like structuring?
Yeah.
Synopsis on Wikipedia: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes will revisit the world of Panem 64 years before the event of the Hunger Games, starting on the morning of the reaping of the 10th Hunger Games. So it's been going on for 10 years.
Why not just go to one?
That's a very
that's what I was thinking. I mean, give us the full backstory because there's another prequel that's going to be a prequel to the prequel that's coming, and
they're going to Prometheus.
That's their.
They're gonna prequel out. They're gonna out prequel the prequels here, guys. They're gonna prequelize and but that's a very good. That was my first thought when I said the 10th Hunger Games. Like, okay,
you're going that far back. Why not just keep going? Go to the start.
Why not do 11? So it's at least like a literal, like interesting. You know, I don't know.
Just make it the 13th because 13.
I wonder if they're gonna do the 25th Hunger Games next to do the first quarter quell.
Oh, that's right. It was what, 75 or something like that. So
yeah, it's the second one. 74 was the
second one was the best one in my opinion.
Oh yeah, best book too. I mean, I haven't read the books. Shut up.
I mean, I've heard
it. so says the grapevine.
so then the Katniss character won't be in that then.
I mean, that'd be really cool. Just like halfway through the movie, like a Rick and Morty style, like portal opens up and Jennifer Lawrence runs at me like, guys, we got to call this all off right now.
Yeah, so
I don't think she's alive.
Yeah. Her parents might not even be alive by then. Okay.
I mean, who knows? Maybe she just looked incredible in the first movie. Like she's 64, but she's looks 14. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I don't know if the Hunger Games that much of a. I thought the whole YA project has kind of dissipated.
It has
a
for
little
film.
bit. I mean, they keep making attempts. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, they just keep making attempts in other properties, and nothing has really hit. You know, like some of that stuff did. I mean, you know, Harry Potter and obviously Hunger Games afterwards. So yeah.
I think they're still trying in books. That's why, like, Moving Cities. What was that called? Mortal Engines.
The one that was,
the Peter Jackson one. Yeah, I think
that was YA.
Yeah,
I think so. Oh yeah,
the
books were.
Peter Jackson produced was YA. Yeah.
And when I read the book, I got it from the YA section of the bookstore I went to. Oh, what? No, I didn't read that. Shut up. I read good books. But as far as movies go, it is pretty much dead. Yeah.
Yeah, because like what Maze Runner, they just kind of stopped. They had a couple left and stopped.
No. They finished Maze Runner as Divergent. They had one more to go.
Oh, right. The Shailene Woodley.
Oh, but was it? Yeah, but it was like direct to video, or it just like didn't.
No,
they
wanted to make the fourth one for TV, and she had something in her deal that she could opt out, and she opted out.
Yes, everyone opted out. I think literally the entire cast. Miles Teller, his name, who played 4. Like, it was all very public that the cast of this movie was not down if they were going to do a TV show, and they still wanted to do it anyway. So they all said, "Okay, we're not doing it." And yeah, we just never got it. I mean, and that was they tried to split.
No, Miles Teller was in those.
Oh yeah.
He's like the Draco Malfoy in those.
Oh man! Whiplash, man, is like the film that I always think of for him. It's so fantastically great. Damn,
Whiplash is a really, really, really good movie. I guess people make arguments that it encourages like abusive teachers. I don't really think it does, but I do kind of see merit in that. But it still works.
It doesn't paint him in a positive light at all. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What? J.K. Simmons gets his, and
no, I'm just being objective. That's all. Like I still love the movie.
Yeah.
I'm just
absolutely,
yeah.
Interesting. I'd like to explore that. That's interesting. I don't know where we were. What happened?
I think we kind of got off the rails. Maybe we should wrap up.
Okay.
But movies and stuff. You know me, I'm always down to talk about YA. If you guys want to have a YA section every week, there's no movies coming out. I'll talk about older ones.
Video games and now YA, huh?
Hey, does anybody remember City of Bones, Mortal Instruments? I'll talk about Mortal Instruments for hours, man.
Oh,
that was another one, yeah. God, how can we forget Twilight, for God's sake? That being a YA as well. So
part of the problem is, like, all right, so Harry Potter, successful. That was kids and teenagers. Yeah, that was a huge series that the films kind of piggybacked and went their own way with. Twilight capitalized, Hunger Games, Divergent for a little bit. The problem with your audience is, kids tend to grow out of things. It's not like Star Wars where you go back and say, oh, you know what? I can't wait to see that thing from my childhood. Stuff like this, at least my opinion is, stuff like that kids grow out of, and really it's not cool to be into that stuff anymore. And so to pin down something that, sure, maybe Hunger Games was something for a 12-year-old in 2012, and now they're 20 and they want to watch, I don't know, 50 Shades.
Yeah,
Battle Royale.
Right.
Yeah, no. But there's also the fact that the ones that they kept greenlighting were so interchangeable with each other. Like, how many love triangles, how many post-apocalypse teenage resistance against the evil government movies can we get within a 6-year period? And we got our answer.
It's almost like scraping the bottom of the barrel at that particular point, because of the fact that they have so many similarities in that regard. It's just too much, man, and they don't have identity as often.
Yeah, we literally
if that's the case
for each other. Yeah.
And Maze Runner has a really interesting sub theme running through it of you can't save everyone. You need to choose. Like, you got to let some things go in order to really advance. But I don't care that that's in there, because it's also in a movie about people being put in a big maze in order to cure some zombie plague caused by the sun having a burp. Like,
oh yeah, zombies. Like that really got weird. That franchise.
Not just zombies, plant zombies.
Oh, excuse me, plant zombies.
Yes.
I had no idea about any of this. This is like blowing my mind.
It's such a weird series. Go ahead.
I also read the Maze Runner books. At least the first one. I didn't read the sequels. I read the first one of that. And
guilty as charged.
Exactly. I spent the entire book being like, oh, this has to take place in a video game, because none of this makes sense. Who would build this maze? Who would build this maze and fill it with robot monsters? None of this. Then at the end, it's like, oh, no, someone did build this maze. They did build. No. Okay. Well, all right.
Right. So Ready Player One was technically YA2, and that did all right. It made 582.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just so strange to figure out. I'm double the age of the target audience, so I don't know what teenagers are reading right now that can be adapted, but I don't.
Also, doesn't all that stuff kind of seem weird to be coming out during the Obama era? Maybe Maze Runner and the Hunger Games will work better under Trump. Not to get political, but I mean, just saying, maybe they're a few years too early.
Well, I mean, technically, wasn't Player One that was released during the first George Bush Jr. administration? So
what?
Yeah.
Oh, the book.
Yeah, book, not the film, obviously. But I don't know. Maybe Spielberg's name helped, with Ready Player One a little bit. The fact that he directed it. I mean, it didn't help the BFG, but which was awful. I honestly have not really liked a lot that Spielberg has done in a while.
I agree.
So that's just personal opinion. So,
his 21st century isn't the strongest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I really liked what the newspaper movie he made, and I liked
right.
but
the Post.
The Post. Yeah, I like The Post.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's been not the best decade for him.
Ready Player One is just like nostalgia porn too. So there's so much. I mean that Shining scene is awesome. Where, I mean, stuff like Doctor Sleep. They have that Bryan Cranston commercial. It just seems like everybody's going to the Overlook now.
I did not like that personally. And that bit with The Shining wasn't even in the original novel, so it wasn't in Ready Player One. That was specifically tailored for the film. So, I saw something where there was a Walmart commercial apparently that was trending because it's going to be shown during the Super Bowl, and they were like, "It's pop culture overload in this current commercial," and that's kind of the overstuffing the turkey to a different degree that I was mentioning earlier. And the fact that there's only so well, there's a Walmart commercial which is like apparently every sort of reference you can think of. It's just like beat you over the face with it.
Really?
And I haven't watched it, but it was trending on Twitter. Yeah, but earlier today, last night, something like that.
Have you seen the Bryan Cranston commercial?
Yeah, I did, and then he like hands in the Dew. It's like the Dew No Sugar or something like that. And I don't know. When I was talking when I talked with Photos yesterday, the guy who's working on a new book with Stephen King's kid, actually, he expressed a little bit of just consternation and apprehension about the fact that he's like, okay, King and his kid are everywhere right now, as far as adaptations and stuff like that goes. Will there be just kind of aversion to it after a while? Are people going to get sick of it? Will there be fatigue to Stephen King? And I even did a video about that a few weeks ago. It has the King Assance concluded. I don't know. I mean, oversaturation. Do you don't think so?
No, because some of the stuff that is tied to, like, what's that one with the woman tied to the bed?
Oh, Misery.
Yeah.
No.
Excuse me. Woman tied to the bed. Gerald's Game.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
the one on
Gerald's Game. I didn't know that was so. Like somebody like me, I don't know some of the stuff that is adapted from Stephen King stuff, like 11/22/63. I didn't know that was Stephen King until a couple of weeks after it was out. So I think Joe Sixpack doesn't know as much as we got to make that channel, by the way, Joe Sixpack. I don't think the average person realizes just how much Stephen King content there is out there, or stuff that's being adapted there is. I'm going by my ignorant ass, so there's that my reading.
Well, there's lots of people who don't know, like Stand By Me and Shawshank and stuff like that is Stephen King, because they're like, oh, he's the horror guy. But
exactly.
I mean, The Outsider is getting a lot of good traction currently on HBO. I've only seen the premiere episode since I don't have that app or subscription or anything like that. I haven't watched beyond that, but lots of good buzz there, despite the fact that nothing else is dated yet this year from him. His son's series is that Lock and Key that's coming on Netflix next. It's like less than 2 weeks away now. So,
and what Dr. Sleep gets its home release in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. 3 weeks?
It's February. What am I talking about? That's not already.
Yeah. Did you say the Dr. Sleep director's cut? You were cutting a little bit. It's on VOD right. Yeah, it's on VOD right now, but it is getting a physical home release, and of course, I'm going to be buying that and watching the hell out of it and doing a big bit with Cecil about just compare and contrast. It's adding like almost 30 more minutes to the film, and I'm stoked for that.
Is that technically on VOD now? You can buy the one with 30 extra minutes on it?
You can watch the director's cut on VOD, but you have to buy it. You can't rent it. And so everybody in the Facebook group that I had up about Stephen King, they were like, oh, I watched it. They were just heaping more praise upon it. And I was like, I'm not going to spend $20 to buy it digitally when I'm planning to buy a physical version of it in like a week and a half. It just, money's kind of tight, man. So it's just there's only so much you can do. So I have to wait like everybody else. So
I'm curious because I haven't seen it since it was in theaters, but I'm curious to know where that 30 minutes is going to pad out the story. That's quite interesting.
That's so much too. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It becomes 3 hours at that point. So.
They need to just start making movies long again. Like, stop worrying about things. Like, like sometimes it's too much. I won't pretend like it's not. But
Endgame has taught us that you can make a movie that long and be successful. I mean, they trimmed Star Wars apparently. Apparently, Star Wars was supposed to be longer, and Disney wanted nothing to do with that, which is so strange because Disney knows precisely that a movie at 3 hours can succeed. More
than succeed. That's $2 billion. Right there. That's like,
I think the thought process is we're just so our attention spans are so much shorter now that we want things quickly. We tweet and posts and really 30-second clips, and that's it.
Yeah, I always think of basketball, where the owner who wants to start the league is like, attention spans these days are measured in nanoseconds, and like you see Matt Stone just like looking up at this little bird, and it's terrifically funny, but it's true. I mean, and it's only become worse. That movie's almost actually over 20 years old.
20 years, yeah.
God damn, 1998 that movie came out. Yeah, so
sleeping that movie, incredible.
Yeah, there's truth there, though. But I mean, I saw somebody tweet just like a week or so ago. They were like, "Do you know what I find sexy as a movie reviewer when I see a runtime that's 2 digits?" And I'm like, "Really?" I mean, sometimes, horror especially. Yeah, exactly. So well, two numbers. So if it's less than 100 minutes, if it's 99 or less, if it's a two-digit runtime, if it's like 80 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever the hell, Yeah, if you see a 3-digit runtime, they're just like, "Ooh, that's a little much. That's an investment, man."
101 minutes is an hour 40.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was amusing and yeah.
Yeah, no. Or if they want to do this, if they want to capitalize on home media and release their whatever version in theaters and then do this director's cut shtick, that's one way to capitalize on DVD sales and stuff like that. I don't know how many people would be pissed off about it, but I think that's the best way to capitalize on both ends. If you want people that want the whatever you got for them right now, and all right, if you thought a certain way about this movie, how about 40 minutes extra? Which, I mean, that release the Snyder cut has got some steam behind it. So, once you're in releasing it on home media, once you're at that stage, what do you have to lose as a studio?
Well, I mean, the additional money of finishing effects, I guess, and stuff. But if it was already, done from the onset, and then you just trimmed it down, I guess. Right. I mean, in Snyder's case, I feel like one of the biggest selling points is the fact that everybody who watched the ultimate cut of BVS pretty much it was a mass consensus that it was a better film.
Right.
Significantly. You got so much more screen time for Cavill, and just the Clark Kent perspective and what he was doing, his time in Gotham that they added to it. It was like above and beyond a better film than the trimmed down one that we got. So
the movie cut out, right? It was establishing shots in Superman's storyline was what got cut out of Batman v Superman, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't Superman versus Batman, god damn it. So let's just cut out most of the Superman stuff. It doesn't matter.
You're right. Fair.
So says the angry, media, mogul, whatever person. So
yeah, I mean, especially again going to Disney, if they have 90% of a movie with the Lord and Miller solo, patch it together and release it, make more money off that. Put it on Disney Plus.
Well, I mean, just nobody again wants to admit that they were wrong. Plug and said, "Nope, we're not doing this anymore." It's all ego, and it's never your fault. It's always someone else's fault.
It is Raisa Skywalker. Give us everything you cut. Give us the 3-hour cut, whatever.
And they still haven't released deets for the home release, and like how much, if we're going to see a longer cut, tons of deleted scenes or anything. We still haven't, got any of that information yet, unfortunately. But
right.
It really is strange that they hold back. I don't know what are they holding back for? Sell it.
I know there isn't going to be the Colin Trevorrow concept art though. That definitely will not be on there. And I threw that in our Twitter feed, by the way, guys.
Nice.
So there's a link to it.
Yep, it's in there.
I'm thoroughly intrigued.
It's well done too. I mean, they obviously spent some money on this concept art. And
damn it!
Yeah.
I need to find that script. That's
could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, just that shot again, just that shot of the lightsaber is just what is even like. That's just so cool. How do you not put that in your movie?
Well, and the First Order occupied Coruscant looked super dope too. Like this big, like super Star Destroyer, like just hovering right above anyway, I'm not going to go into
Coruscant. That's a planet from the prequels, right? It
was the capital, yeah.
That's where the Emperor lived, or Palpatine lived, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where the Jedi Temple was?
Yep, that too.
Okay. So, yeah, now I remember. And have a little
Mamba.
Put a subtitle that says where your planets are, because man, Raisa Skywalker really missed out on the Mustafar thing.
Yes, they did.
I'm still kind of angry about that.
I am angry, not kind of angry. Why wouldn't you tell us that?
And also, how do you not go to Vader's fortress?
It's such crucial context, man.
It's funny. All these. There's a lot of videos coming out now where people are starting to do essays and stuff for Rise of Skywalker, and a lot of good points. I refuse to even try to think about doing something like that until I can physically have a copy to look over and source the video. These people are sourcing video from like fucking screeners that look terrible, or not even screeners. They're like cam copies of movies, and it's just like how is this legal?
Well, Stuckman started that back when Force Awakens came out, didn't he? Because he wanted to do a video on Han Solo's death so badly that he found illegal footage and he used it just to see what would happen, and he didn't really get in trouble. So
scripted.
Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's strange. A lot of these essay type videos have a lot of anybody talking about Rise of Skywalker is using footage from cam copies, and I don't know. All right. You're using that scene.
Everyone wants to be the first. They don't want to be the person who does it right. They want to be the person who does it first.
Yeah.
And because you did it first doesn't mean you're going to be remembered. Yeah, you might get 50,000 clicks in a week, but then they're going to fall off and you're never going to get any more. But if you wait, you do it right.
Yeah. You get 200 like I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I still see the extent of work that is put into some of those videos, though. A few years ago, Cecil did one for Krampus, and it was called Krampus Reconsidered, and he spent weeks working on that video, between like he fully scripted it and all this different stuff, intercut of clips and stuff, and then banned worldwide, gone, all that work for nothing. It was just, he was pissed, and rightfully so. I mean, all that he was, and he was praising the thing throughout, about how good it was. And
that's universal, isn't it?
It is. There's no context given, to how you're portraying this property. It's just the fact that, and yet it was still film punditry criticism, and, he still talked more than he showed footage. So he was abiding by those particular parameters, and yet he still, had it taken down. So yeah, that's kind of where I stared on that situation. And I'm just like, as much as you want to do it, I mean, throw it on Vimeo or just source it somewhere else that nobody is going to care about it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's
the
a
work,
tough situation.
right? The work that Emily puts into her stuff, months and months of scripting and stuff, and when she has to clip things because of copyrights and stuff, it's just like, man, she's putting a lot of work into this. It's
no, and the It Chapter 2 that you sent me, man, after our previous video was so intense. Of course dude, it was so in depth with its analysis and just, I mean, all of the queer subtext there and stuff, which was not in the source material, as I was telling you. And I did feel like it was done in a loving manner, in the fact that King actually, gave it his okay and all this different stuff, which is one thing I didn't know about, was that, the team behind the film approached him. And I mean, she knows her stuff, man, and I mean, props, obviously.
Yeah, Emily busts her ass, man. She's the talented one in the house. I'll always say that.
Don't say. It is spread across the board, obviously. As
your check's in the mail. But yeah, that we're about close to 2 hours there, Lindsay.
We are. Yeah, so
a lot to talk about. It's been a good show.
Yeah, so I'm in YouTube jail, so I don't know. We're probably going to be.
It lasts 3 months or 6 months, I forget, because we were in there about a year or so ago, if I remember correctly, year and a half ago.
Yeah, April 25th is when I can come back, but I'm fighting it, so.
3 weeks.
Right. I think they said 7 business days, so whatever.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be lucky and you'll be the YouTuber that'll finally get taken to court, and then we'll get the precedents, and all this will go away.
Get some
and the exclusive coverage too. All those clickies.
All those clickies. I love that. Makes you picture all the Baby Yoda, like, oh, you want a snick? Oh, you want a click?
Well, so to plug my channel, since we're not on my channel.
Oh yeah.
I recently did a Who Would Like That review of Human Centipede, and discussed whether or not it has artistic merit.
I was thinking Clerks 2 asked him out.
That's what I opened the video with. I literally.
Oh, do you? I haven't watched it yet.
For the record, look, when you love someone, ass to mouth is what are we talking about? Where
it's
did I
forgivable. in the heat of battle, or whatever those she says. Yeah.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, and I also filmed a review for Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which is the first of the Vengeance trilogy, which features Oldboy. That should be up on my channel before the weekend's up too. Making produced material since I can't stream.
Cool. And this is on my channel, My 2 Cents of Nonsense. I've never actually really made an announcement on my channel about this show. I should really do that. I guess maybe this is the preamble to me announcing this on my. If you're watching this is Show Business every Monday at 6 p.m. Coastal? No, standard. Where am I?
It's your
Pacific.
time.
You are Pacific, sir.
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We talk
somewhere on the internet.
Just on my buddy Willie Scredia's YouTube channel. He was just talking about it.
I'm not in jail. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's not in jail, but it might be here again next week. Might be on Fuegos next week, just to make it different. Yeah, Check it out. We have fun and we talk about shenanigans. It's a good time.
Box office stats every week.
Yes. The winners, the losers, recent movie news, movies we've seen, and every now and again I throw in something about video games or
YA.
YA, yeah.
By the way, I'm still trying to struggle my way through The Witcher. That show does not want. It's so aggressively not meant for me, but I am trying.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't Cecil love it? Man. Cecil loves it.
Cecil loves the hell out of it. He even edited together that video.
Oh yeah, the 90s,
like a 90s kind of. I still haven't watched any of it, so oh well. I've been trying to catch up on Clone Wars because season 7 of Clone Wars is next month on Disney Plus, and I just want to be, in the proper accord of context and stuff. So,
John can't be a camp of screw Ahsoka. She can't beat no Darth Maul.
No, I'm not in that camp. Although I do like that camp. Yeah, that's funny, but. No, she's okay, I guess. I mean, I really was off put by her in the Clone Wars film, the animated one that they put out in theaters and stuff like that. I thought she was just way too kiddie, but I feel like her character grew enough over the course of the series, and I'm actually watching it in the proper order of timeline because that stuff is it's on one of the Disney websites. They aired the episodes out of order, so they do all of this timeline jumping around, and if you want to watch it in like its actual order as far as the storytelling goes, there's all kinds of different articles floating around about that.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It starts with like an episode. It's like 312. It's an episode from the 3rd season. It's the first in actual order of continuity.
What?
It's so weird, and this is like Disney official list that was released. And if you want to watch stuff as opposed to jumping around all scatterbrained, it's so weird. So, yeah,
sure, why not?
That takes place between 2 and 3, right?
Yeah. Yes,
three?
exactly right. So, yeah, 2 and 3. So, over the course of the Clone Wars, and you've got tons of Dooku and oh boy, whatever the road Grievous. I was trying to think of his name for a second. I mean, yeah, lots of interesting stuff there, though. I mean, it's funny because like 1 out of every 5 episodes is legitimately memorable, and then there's other stuff that's just very throwaway. But the good ones are very, very good. Solid stuff. As far as anything that I'm working on, I just put up Bad Boys for Life, my review the other day. I finally got to check that out after a week or so of just sitting and wondering if I was going to find some time for it. And then big thing on the horror show this weekend is on Saturday I'm actually doing a live show that is the 200th episode of Hail to Stephen King. It is it's a big milestone for me, and I think I'm going to be doing it at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, so 1900 hours for all you Stephen King fans. So yeah.
Cool. Cute.
Yep, exactly. So there it is.
Lindsay, your channel.
I plugged myself in this show, and I'm all good and plugged up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got
to watch my backlog of videos. I got a bunch of good stuff in there. So, what you're saying?
You have to
wrap it up.
I'm not going to wrap it up, guys. We're going to sit here for the next handful of hours, and good night. No, wait, I have another button. Crap, it didn't work. And good night. Why is there a third button?